Talk about anxiety. Like,
I know.
packing gives me so much
Completely.
anxiety. Yeah, give me packing tips.
Oh my gosh, my go-to packing tip is the little packing cubes. I cannot live without them. Packing cubes for me takes so much stress out of the whole packing situation, and it also makes it so you can pack like twice as much, I've found.
Big flowy materials, a lot of neutrals, so you can, rewear or
Yeah.
layer.
What's up, my Yes Tribe? Welcome back to the Yes Life Show. I am so excited that you said yes and are joining me today. We have two very special guests in the studio today. But if you're wondering, what is the Yes Life? Well, that's the life you truly love. And on the Yes Life Show, I love sharing ideas and people who live their Yes Life and how they got there. And today, in the studio, we have two guests. We have two girls who love to travel. They are very inspiring. We have Colleen McArdle and Tyler Grove.
Hello.
They are the hosts of a travel podcast, We Traveled Where. And I just want you guys to kind of start from the beginning of, it was a blog. We Traveled Where was a blog that you created. And now you guys both co-host this amazing podcast. So just kind of tell us what the podcast is all about in the blog.
Yeah, to kind of start and go from the very beginning, the blog was obviously the first thing to start. And I started it initially really just to start documenting my travel experiences and kind of have it all in one place. From there, it grew, and all of a sudden people started asking me for itineraries and trip ideas, and I was like, okay, this could be a little bit bigger than just my place to put all of my little things.
Right.
And from there, it started to grow. I started from that growing a small micro following on Instagram and on social. And then just about a year ago, I started to see that the podcasting space was picking up. And from there, I did a little bit of research and noticed there wasn't a ton going on within the travel space, specifically in podcasting.
Right.
And I always knew that I wanted to kind of share a voice for We Traveled Where. It was great as a blog, but it was kind of static, in my opinion. And travel is something that you want it to be something that you can talk about. And the biggest thing for travel is stories.
Yeah.
And Colleen is obviously my best friend, and we both travel a lot, and we come from a huge travel background. And when I first started, I called her. I was like, "What do you think of this idea?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, yes,
I'm in."
Yeah, it was so exciting. I had, spent 2 years abroad in Madrid, Spain, and it's not a topic that I get to kind of bring up in natural conversation. No one's like, oh, I want to hear about your time abroad and how you were in Barcelona with your best friend,
Yeah.
You want to be able to kind of talk about those experiences in a safe space where you can be like, it really was transformative, and these were the cultures that I came across. And so Tyler approached me and she's like, hey, do you want to be on my first episode? And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Nice. As the Spain expert?
She the funny part is I was like, I don't even know what we want this first episode to be about. Just come on and let's talk travel.
Yeah.
And we were set up at my old office, after hours at work, because I had nowhere else to do it. I have two roommates. I was like, I can't do it at home. It's too loud. So I literally got mics off Amazon, and we started after hours at 9 p.m. at work.
I brought a bottle of rosé and sunglasses because
Two very important things.
believe it or not, I'm terrified of public speaking. So it was just the two of us, and it's my best friend, and I was wearing blackout sunglasses.
Yeah, she
and had a glass of rosé, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm so
you
nervous.
look so chic. You're like, my glasses, my rosé.
Let me tell
Let's
you about my
talk about
travel.
travel. I love that.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
just the chemistry too after the first 5 minutes, and I don't know if it was the wine or just being with your best friend, but we kind of just hit a stride, and we're like, this could be something big. And I love sharing our experiences. You have so many, so.
Yeah, and so we kind of just sat there and we're like, why don't we do this together? This is going to be way more fun if we have a co-host. There should be no point to just have this be one person. And so ever since then, Colleen's been on every episode, and we've been doing it together.
We host it together now.
Incredible.
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like you learn so much about life, yourself, when you travel. So what are some things, when you say yes to travel, what are some things that you've learned through your travels?
Oh, big question.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like so many aspects to travel. I think just the nature of travel itself, it teaches you everything about life.
Yeah.
I've been traveling, and so has Colleen, since we were really little. So it's something that's kind of like ingrained in both of us since we were children.
Yeah.
And from there, I think it teaches you to be open to new cultures and new people. Everyone around the world is so different. And if you're kind of like in your own suburb or silo, you're not exposed to that. And it's no problem with that. It's just that when you are traveling, you get to see things and meet people that you never normally would, whether it be language differences, the way people act, to the way that they speak.
Yeah.
You just get exposed to that. So you get taught to be more open. My biggest thing is I like getting taught about food. I eat everything.
Food is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And I know you have your own areas.
Yeah, I think everyone's experience with travel is different, and I think that's definitely an imperative aspect of the We Traveled Where podcast. Specifically, I've traveled over to 30 different countries, and you know, and exactly to echo what Tyler's saying, like you learn about the mass differences and the vast, you know, bubbles that people live in, and that's their reality.
Right.
But then you also realize like the connectedness that we all experience the same human condition in a number of different ways, and to connect with someone on the other side of the world or in a small little country in South Africa, and they were singing along to Taylor Swift lyrics, and you're like, Taylor Swift, you better know how far of a reach you have.
Yeah.
We're in the country of Lesotho.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just a really interesting thing to know that everyone has the same struggles and everyone has the same joys.
Yeah.
And I think that's my favorite part about travel in general.
I love that. You know, when I actually, I did a month speaking tour in India, and I got to meet the Dalai Lama, which was just
my gosh.
how cool.
That's incredible.
By the way, his skin feels like butter. I was like, literally, I was literally petting him. I was like with a group of girls, and they're like, Jess, you know you're petting the Dalai Lama. I was like, I'm just trying to get all of his energy, his good vibes. But he told, I said, like, how can I make a difference in this world? And he said, just practice that we're all one. We're all connected. No boundaries, no judgment.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And it just goes along that we're all one. We're all connected.
Yeah.
And I think that you really learn that when you travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I have, because you guys both have your day jobs.
Yes.
And you have your podcast.
Yeah.
So what was it like starting a podcast? And then my second question is, what is it like doing it with your best friend? Like, do you guys have hiccups? Do you guys?
I'll take this one.
Yeah, you go.
I mean, because it's hard. You know, you guys are best friends, and now you're, you know, starting this podcast together. And is someone doing more work or less work or whatever? Is it like?
Well, I'm so glad you asked this question, because I thought about this morning when I was showering. I was like,
shower. Best thoughts come in the shower.
The best part about being in a business or doing a passion project with your best friend is that you have to treat it like every other relationship. It has to start with trust. Like Tyler said the other day, like, I didn't even have to text you. I trusted and knew you were going to be at our recording studio at 5 p.m. And I was. And you just have to have that baseline trust as a foundation. And then I think the best part about us is that we kind of fill in each other's gaps. Where she does better, you know.
Completely.
Yeah, it's like yin and yang.
Absolutely. And I think that's another imperative part of the dynamic to make it work.
Right.
Otherwise, then it's this power struggle for everyone to do the same thing, you know, in their best way. And it's like someone has to pick up the lagging aspect. So I think that probably is like the best part of us.
Yeah.
Completely. And like to go off of that too, I think if you're going to go into a partnership with somebody, whether it be your best friend or anyone, you kind of have to go into it with expectations that it is a partnership. Like you can't go into it with the goal of being a little bit higher up on the totem pole than that person.
Equal.
Yeah, you have to think of it as an equal partnership, especially when it's a co-host on like a podcast. Like you both have to have the same idea that where I'm going, I want you to come with me.
Right.
Where she's going, she wants me to go with her.
Yeah.
So it's really equal in that sense. And then in addition, it's really about communication. I know I have days and she'll have days where it's just like we just can't do it. Like you said, we both have normal jobs on the side, and like, I'll get off work or she'll get off work, and it's just like you can't do everything at all times. And I know like I had my first solo episode like a few weeks ago actually, and Colleen.
Just another bump in the road. I had an emergency at work. I had to stay and finish that primary responsibility. You know. And I unfortunately had to call her last minute and said, I'm so sorry, but I can't make the interview, you know, professionally, like let our guests know ahead of time that it'll be, you know, one-on-one.
Right.
But, you know, there are those challenges, but to have each other's back, like, you know.
And like be okay with that and just be like, I respect you and I know you wouldn't call me unless like you really had to be somewhere else.
And it's that communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just communicate.
Totally.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. So
Thank you.
Kind of going back to the travel, like next trip, favorite trip.
Oh.
I've been craving since we've just been like gung-ho launching the podcast and our 9-to-5s. But I've been craving a trip that's gonna make me uncomfortable, that I can really get out there and grow again and, you know, do something. I'm a glamper, so to be uncomfortable out in the jungle. So I'm going to Indonesia. We're going to East Java and Kalimantan, and we're gonna hike Mount Bromo for about 2 days. So it's a place that I've never been before. I've been to Thailand, but nowhere else in Southeast Asia.
Awesome.
So that's where I'm going in September.
I know. I'm like so jealous because that's what I want to do next, which is what's funny.
I love that you like have that, like I want a trip that's gonna put me outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And not instead of just like, oh, I wanna go here. It's like you start with what's the feeling.
Right.
And then you pick the destination.
Like I'm gonna be packing makeup wipes and an eyeliner and that's it. Like, my 2 essentials. Maybe like some t-shirts.
That's so funny. I love it.
No, I'm with you. I think the best travel experiences are always the ones you don't expect. So when you are uncomfortable and it turns out to be an extraordinary situation or something where it's just like last minute you book a flight and you go somewhere. I have a trip coming up. I'm going to Greece in just like 3 weeks, which I'm really excited about, which will be incredible. But something that I do want to plan for is something similar to what Colleen's doing, is one that's a little bit more out of the box. I love we're like we said, the yin and the yang. She's like a glamper. I love roughing it. Like I think it's so much fun. Like so I would love to go on more of like a roughing it experience, whether that's like a full hike where you're like actually camping or doing something that's like totally out of my comfort zone in that area.
Yeah.
I haven't booked anything yet, but it's in the pipeline.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now when what's like must do when you're planning a trip, what are like your steps that how much do you plan or do you leave some up for, let's see what happens?
Yeah. Well, I think basic is you always have to have flexibility with travel. I mean, that's the essence of it. It's kind of the unknown, and that's what makes it so rewarding. But I think we were just laughing about this. It starts with the packing. I think
God, packing. Talk about anxiety. Like packing gives me so much anxiety. Yeah, give me packing tips.
Oh my gosh, we were literally talking about this on the car ride here because we're in between like travels right now as well. Yeah. My go-to packing tip is the little packing cubes. I cannot like live without them. That's how I survive on every trip when it comes to packing, because I'm constantly, like I said, like on the go.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to like grab that one little bin that has like all my t-shirts into it, so I can like throw that on really quick like while I'm in the car.
Yeah.
So packing cubes for me takes so much stress out of the whole packing situation, and it also makes it so you can pack like twice as much, I've found.
Ooh.
So it's like my favorite little hack.
Okay, packing cubes.
Packing cubes. I think big flowy materials, a lot of neutrals, so you can, you know, rewear or layer, and they don't wrinkle as much. I'm gonna have to Google how to pack in a backpack in the jungle.
Oh gosh, my hands are getting clammy just thinking about packing.
Well, we'll see.
Any other like travel hacks that you guys or tips that you guys like to share on your blog or on your podcast?
There's like so many. I think when it comes to travel, there's like so many aspects of it. For travel planning, one of my favorite things to do is actually utilize Instagram, similar to Pinterest. So I like to get inspo from all sorts of travel bloggers, fashion bloggers, anything like that, and always kind of be up to date on like some of the newest locations people are traveling to. But I think what makes it really easy for me to jump on those opportunities more so is I save every photo that I find that I want to go travel to an individual board on Instagram that I create. So you know how you can create like those saved boards?
Yeah.
I'll have boards that are like for San Diego, and it's like all the restaurants that I've seen scrolling through Instagram that I want to try there.
Ooh, or that's a good little hack.
All the places in like Southeast Asia that I want to go to, that includes all the hotels. So it makes it really easy when you're like okay, I have 2 weeks here that I can go somewhere. Where do I want to go? And like, here are all the places
My
I wanna
board.
do.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
I'm notorious for forgetting where I have lunch or where I have
yeah.
coffee. So to save it and to be able to go back and reference when people are like, oh, what's a cute like cafe that I can grab breakfast in Paris? I'm
Right.
like, that spot around the big tall thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that.
So.
That's a really good tip. I'm gonna start doing that, just like for other things too, not just.
It's like the way that I'm like a big organization person.
Yeah,
so that's,
to
like, the only way I
digitally
do it.
organize your trip like that
Yeah,
is just really helpful.
So, what are like the hot places now to travel to?
Oh my gosh, there's like,
I think Buenos Aires in
Ooh, I like how you even say it.
Buenos Aires.
yeah,
Buenos
this girl
Aires.
like with the Spanish, I'm awful. Any kind of language.
Yeah, I'm out of practice.
And
but-
why there? Why Buenos Aires?
So there's this phenomenal book that I read. It's called What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding, by Kristen Newman. She's a writer for, I believe, How I Met Your Mother, and comedian. And she talks about how Buenos Aires, the city, was just this transformative place, just filled with culture and history and food, and landscape, just beauty. And the multiple people that through our podcast and the people I've talked to, they always reference Buenos Aires. And although I haven't been yet, I've just keep hearing wonderful things. So I would encourage other people to go visit as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and joining me on the Yes Life show. Tell them how they can check out your blog and listen to your podcast.
Of course. So you can actually find us on wetraveledwhere.com. Our podcast is also linked there. But if you're looking for us on social media, it is at wetraveledwhere_the podcast. And my personal Instagram is at TyTyGrove, which is TyTyGrove. And you can follow my adventures there.
And I'm at CC McArdle.
So if you're heading over to Buenos Aires, check them out. Listen to their podcast. I love it. It's all about entrepreneurship and travel. And you guys are just a breath of fresh air. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. And thank you for saying yes and tuning in today. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.